everyone, Boardgame Brody here with Meeple Mountain. I have a new copy of Dungeon Party. Yes, it's that coin-bouncing role-playing game by Forbidden Games. Now let's get right into this, but let me first start by saying this isn't my favorite Forbidden Games' game. But I feel like it does have something to offer, so because of that, it will get to the table at my house. In the game, the first thing you will do is you'll create a dungeon to explore. You will do this by first taking one of the dungeon coasters, either by random or you can choose which you want to do for whatever reason. This will include the story. It lists the difficulty on the bottom. Then, when flipped over, it will list any special rules and the number of tiles for each level. Each level will always contain one room tile, one monster tile, and one treasure tile. You will then take the number of each type in the level you want, start with the boss, and build toward the level 1s because you want the easier stuff on top and the boss to be last. So to do this, you will add a random treasure, and then the boss, and then a random room, unless one is listed on the special rules of the dungeon. Then a random treasure, level 5 monster, level 5 room, and then continue with the number listed on your dungeon tile. Soon enough, you will have a stack of tiles that represent your dungeon, and it will have a pattern of flipping over the room first, the monster next, and after defeating the monster, then the treasure. Each player will then choose a character that will give them their hit points, their health, a bonus, and possibly a special action. You will want to have 4 to 6 characters in the game, so depending on how many players that are playing with you, you might control 1, 2, or maybe even 3 different characters. These characters should be all different character classes to fully take advantage of magical items found during the game that can be only used for certain classes. So now it's time to play. The game seems to be designed as if you are playing this game in a public place, and it references drinking a lot. This might be the case for some, but honestly, this game yells out to me as a family game. If you are like me, you are playing this with your kids, so feel free to edit out references of drinking or smoking, and if you haven't heard yet, those things are bad for you. Anyways, it's game time now where you will need to just relax and just have fun with this game. It is fun if you realize what it is and not what you want it to be. What I mean is that the game isn't perfect, but if you give it a chance, it actually can be really fun. This also will differ largely by who you're playing with and the current mood of the group. So let's go into the dungeon. The first room tile is revealed. If there are any special directions listed, you will follow them. For example, there might be a trap in the room and someone needs to try to disarm it. This is done the same way how you will attack monsters, but you will take a coin, the coin included in the game, bounce it at least once off the table, and try landing it on the tile. Landing the coin on the tile is always good, and having it land off the tile is always bad. For example, the trap, if you land it on the tile, you disarm it, and you continue through. But if you don't land the coin on the tile, it goes off, and you suffer the listed damage. Your damage will be tracked by a 6-sided die. For a cursed room, players take turns bouncing quarters, and the first one to miss gets the curse. After the room is revealed, a monster matching the same level is revealed as well. Players all take turns bouncing the coin off the table and trying to land it on the tile. If it lands on the tile, they deal it damage. If it lands off of the tile, they suffer damage themselves listed on the monster's tile. Players continue taking turns until someone defeats the monster. The last person to deal damage and slay that monster will earn the treasure and can keep it for themselves or give it to any other player. But on the right side, it lists purple gems representing how valuable that item is. And the player at the end of the game with the most purple gems wins. But you also will need help from your other players to get through the dungeon. When a monster is defeated, a new room and a monster is flipped out again. And the player who slayed the last monster will start dealing damage, bouncing coins with the newest monster. Monsters get harder and random events listed on rooms will change things up. And everyone is bound to laugh at least a couple times if they are trying to at least enjoy this game. Whenever a player's health runs out, they are knocked out and the other characters continue onwards without them. If all players get knocked out of the dungeon wins and the players might need to go back to adventure training camp and learn how to bounce quarters again. If players make it through the dungeon, then the player with the most purple gems wins. Yeah, I knew I shouldn't have given them that magical item when I was playing. So I know I sprinkled in some of my thoughts already, but I will continue. So the game should have been designed more for a family audience, or at least more for players who are playing this in their home. I would have guessed that maybe 5 or 10% of the time people might be playing this in a public place. So I'm super surprised that they included text on the tiles that warrant special rules that can only be performed in a public place, and that was an accepted direction for the game. Also, the box says ages 10 plus, yet it references drinking a whole lot for players for that young of age. And lastly, I really enjoyed the art until I found just a couple of overly sexualized monsters. Again, it says 10 plus. So what this game requires is for you to take out tiles that might make players, most likely the younger variety, confused, or tiles that might not be appropriate. Also, depending on your group's skill level, you might need to make some house rules. If players aren't that good at bouncing the coin yet, then if it touches any part of the tile, let it count as a hit. With some special action, fudge it a little bit. Let players use their hero ability more than just once per dungeon. The game wants you to enjoy it and have fun. Don't get frustrated with it and end up with quarter dents on your tiles or even in your table. With time, you will be able to formulate your own dungeon, even making your own story to go along with it to ensure you play this game in a way that is enjoyable for you and your group. And that's really how this game should be viewed. If you think something needs to be changed to be better or for you to have more fun, then do it. This version that I have right here is the Barnes & Noble exclusive version. Yours might be a little bit different, but the game has so many tiles or coasters, it makes the box super heavy. A variety of things are included, and the game comes with just one coin, which surprises me. I would have thought that since it has 6 dice, it would at least have 6 coins. But what we decided to do is just play with quarters, and the hero player who just defeated the last monster gets the coin included in the game, the special coin. But the dice are nice, includes a d20 to track the health of each monster and the d6s for each player. Anyways, this game is a great experience in RPG feel while also being able to goof around more to test your dexterity coin bouncing skills. So now we know what Dungeon Party provides, and we will pull it out when we want to have those fun, relaxed, less serious game experiences. So throw quarters to slay monsters with your family and friends in Dungeon Party, the coin-bouncing RPG game by Forbidden Games. Again, this is Board Game Brody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stick around and check out some other board game reviews to see what you might want to get to the table.